Ah, hello,
Um,
Salon Wild.
I
It
forgot to
must be
lock the door
Nancy.
behind me, and so
Oh, do we have a visitor?
we'll see. We'll find out. I have
Oh,
kids, for those of you who don't know, two of
yes.
them, and a loving wife who takes care of both of them while I do these. So we'll see what happens.
You know, I would say that your children are always welcome here. Children are always welcome, especially during a pandemic.
especially during a pandemic.
But guess what, guys? It's 1 o'clock Pacific time. It's Wednesday, and this is The Well. My
We
name
are
is
here.
Emily.
My
This
name is
is,
Jomar, your coach. I This is the well. This is what we do on Wednesdays. It's a new time. It's 1 p.m. And we do this to uh, offer some wisdom bits that we hope will be helpful on this journey ahead. I am a transformative coach. I help people get clear on what it is that they want to create in their lives, their businesses, their careers, and we go get it.
Go get it. That is like a perfect segue to our topic today. And I guess I'll just give myself a little intro. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Emily. I'm also a coach. Um, I consider myself a transformational leader. I've been facilitating and providing transformational leadership in the realms of one on one coaching, business coaching, and consulting. I work with small teams and groups. Facilitate retreats. I used to do a really cool luncheon for conscious entrepreneurs called Lionhearted Lunch, and now there's this thing called social distancing and sheltering in place and lockdown, and so I'm not really doing that anymore. But it was really fun while I did it, so now everything's virtual. Jomar and I have gotten together to bring you guys the well, to because it's fun, first of all. And our belief is that coaching's had a profound impact in our lives and the lives of our clients. And we wanted to pass some of that along, especially during these crazy times. Hi, Ashbrook.
That's my wife.
Hi, wifey.
Hi, wife. I also see Natalie. Hi, Natalie. Long time no
And
see.
Nancy's on too.
Okay, so our topic for today, we call it same, but different. Really, it's distinctions where they are sort of these lenses, these frameworks that can be narrowed down into 1 to 2 words, in which sound the same, but in reality play out very, very differently in our lives, relationships, careers, etc. So we wanted to discuss why they're important to us, and then potentially offer up 1 or 2 powerful distinctions that have helped us. Is that right, Em? Is that the
Yeah,
agenda?
for sure. I mean, this is like such a. I mean, this episode of The Well is really just going to scratch the surface of what distinctions are and how powerful they are. So hopefully what this is an invitation for people to start, looking for distinctions in their life and listening for distinctions more in their life to help them create insight and to help them distinguish some of their behavior. And that's I'll just get into, that's why I believe distinctions are so powerful. I believe that distinctions are the things that help us distinguish our behavior. Distinctions are the tools which allow us to shift our perspective with a circumstance or an experience or a way of being that may be important to us. So it's in a way, like it's kind of like a this versus that thing, and it allows you to just like, instead of this, look at, instead of this, that. And probably a little bit more easy if we like get into like what are some of the distinctions that we think are powerful and that have helped us along our journey, or that we've noticed have been impactful for other people, whether clients or other people in our lives.
I agree. I think, yeah, let's apply it. I think for folks that are out there, you might be up to something you're creating. You might be a business, or you might be wanting to work on your relationship, or perhaps you don't have one and you want to work on creating one, or maybe you're a current entrepreneur, or you're in a certain career and you want to transition. Whatever it is, these things will come up, And so why don't we get into the application part and talk about some of the powerful ones and go from there. You want to go first, Em?
Sure. I would love to go first. I think one of the most powerful distinctions that we have available to us is this distinction of being versus doing, right? So even when you think about like, I think I would put money on the number one question that people ask in life is, how are you doing? Right? So our culture, our society, and our way of being, particularly in the West, is so focused around what we do, what we have accomplished, and how we spend our time, the action items, the tangible, right? How are you doing? We don't often like ask people, hey, who are you being today, right? Oh, I'm being open, I'm being kind, I'm being resilient, I'm, being a leader. We say like, oh, I'm doing fine, So I love this distinction, being versus doing, particularly because I think if we are looking to create sustainable change in our life, or create something that we haven't before, we have to not only shift what we're doing, our action items, we also have to shift who we're being, right? What's the energy, the attitude, and the characteristics behind which we're showing up to that doing, behind which we're showing up to that action, right? Because you can change your doing all that you want, but if you're not also willing to change your being, your way of being, and how you show up, you are likely not going to create sustainable change. So being versus doing is one of my absolute favorite and believe to be one of the most powerful
I love that.
distinctions.
I love that. I think that relates to the first one I want to bring up, which is my distinction is financial security versus financial freedom. Mm-hmm. So that this is a powerful distinction for me that I've just sort of come across as a business owner, as someone who has a practice where I'm now sort of have the thing I'm creating that's my own. It showed up early before, but essentially financial security to me is more in the doing realm, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just being smart, spending less than what's coming in, having a plan, being disciplined. That's just sort of the logistics, and like having a keen understanding of what that is, and understanding like where you want to take risks with that, where you want to spend. So financial security to me is just the practical way of handling your finances. Mm-hmm. Folks bring up financial freedom a lot, and I believe they carry on sort of that doing energy in financial freedom. And it becomes another sort of a second level of financial security in which you sort of like, if you add more, if you have wealth, then you'll have financial freedom. Mm-hmm. And I believe the distinction that I've created that's been really powerful is financial freedom really is more of a being conversation rather than a doing. It's sort of the financial freedom to me isn't it's sort of this realization that my freedom is not intrinsically and inherently tied into what's in my bank account. Mm. It's sort of maybe a metric of it, a metric of my creativity, but it's like my sense of freedom, my sense of general okayness, and how I'm going to continue to play as an entrepreneur isn't rooted in that. And so that's been a powerful distinction for me.
I love that. I love how you took my distinction and tied it into your own distinction that I think all relate to.
We jammed on that one.
That's right. Cool. Well, just a hello to Catherine who's joined us, and Nancy seems to be thinking that this is a interesting conversation. See, this is the beauty of distinctions. It's like the thing that gets the wheels turning. It's the thing that allows you to start looking and seeing things in a different way, and ideally, hopefully, in a way that can bring you some empowerment and some energy and a shift, if that's what you're looking for in relation to whatever the circumstances that you're talking about or that you're creating a distinction around. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to share a couple more?
I think we have time for one more each and we'll be good.
Okay, cool. So, All right, I will share this. This came from a dear friend of mine. Hello, we have another Catherine joining us. Hello, Catherine Brennan.
Hi, Catherine.
There is this beautiful distinction that actually one of my friends who's also a coach, Megan Smith, brought up to me just this morning. Because as I have been navigating single parenting and, divorce and being an entrepreneur, sometimes I have conversations around, what's next, right? What do I do next, right? Who do I need to become next? And I love this morning, my friend Megan shared this distinction of creating versus acting. So the context is that this is your life to create, right? This is not something you need to act out, right? We don't know what the next act, what the next act is going to entail. We don't know, what what lays in front of us. We actually get to create it. So this distinction around creating versus acting, right? There's not this role that you have to fulfill. There's actually this opportunity that you get to create and live into. So I really love that one. I've been pondering that one today. So that's very live for me today.
Thanks, Em. My last one would be this distinction. What's present for me now, probably more than ever, is this distinction between easy and effortless. Whenever we sort of go after the thing we want, it's exciting on the onset, and we sort of have this initial boost. And that initial boost sort of has us thinking that's like, okay, I'm here, let's do it. And things are supposed to become easy. And as I've sort of ventured into my own thing, going after what I want, what I'm finding is it's not going to be easy, but there is sort of this zone where things can feel effortless. And the nuanced distinction that I'm seeing here, and I'm still trying to make sense of it, but basically this effortless zone is sort of that once you've gotten over that hump over sort of the easy, and then you land in this zone, you're still putting forth the same unit of effort, but it's as if the productivity, the results on the other side are sort of exponential or sort of like in a different realm. The mindset before this may have been for 1 unit of effort, you have sort of another unit of a result or productivity there. Mm-hmm. But in sort of the effortless realm, it's like the effort is there, but it's like it could be 3x on the other side. It could be 10x. And 7x of those 10x might be things you might not see or will never present themselves. Like, for example, this to me is sort of a step into that effortlessness of like, there's effort here. It's not easy to show up and be here and be present. We have to, there's prep, and we have to show up vulnerably. That part's not easy. That takes practice. But like, as we step in, there's sort of like, okay, we're here. We made the effort. What sort of ripples are being sent out into the ethers as a result of this?
Which really is the impact of the way we be when we do these things.
Way to circle that back.
Woo!
I love it.
All right. Well,
all right.
We'll leave you there, folks. We are back on Wednesdays at 1 with The Well. I'm Emily.
I'm Jomar. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Much love. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.